Alright everybody, hello and welcome to a brand new video. In this video we're going to be breaking down my sweep of my remote Freestyle Cup. This is courtesy of Go Stadium, link to their Discord in the description below. This video is also special because it has a lot of history. So with each battle, I didn't realize this until I started compiling the video, but with each battle we're going to work our way through different switch systems. So the first battle is going to be the one that we really didn't like as players, the one where we started the hashtag community voice, the hashtag save PvP movement, and it actually helped to convince Niantic to reverse their decision. The second one is the old school system that you are familiar with and that they went back to for a time. And then the final battle actually has all of the charge move mini games included. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into round one. So in round one, I'm facing off against IP Mante. He's got Medicham, Bastiodon, Lantern, Skarmory, Vigoroth, and Venusaur. As you can see my team down there, I'm going to run Lanoon, Defense Form Deoxys, Skarmory, Trash Wormadam, Azumarill, and Toxicroak. Now I'm going to lead off here with Skarmory, and he leads with Venusaur. Obviously, perfect lead situation for me. He actually pulls his Venusaur out and goes back in with Medicham. I pull up my switch menu as well, and I go into Azumarill. So this is again a favorable matchup for me. I had the switch advantage because of the good lead to start off the match. So I'm going to go here for the Shield Bait with an Ice Beam, and we get it. He's going to return fire with his with a Dynamic Punch. I actually ran Dynamic Punch on my Poliwrath in Nightmare because I thought it was an interesting wrinkle to add to the system. Everyone's expecting the first Power Up Punch to be weak, but when you smack them with the Dynamic Punch right off the bat, it really changes the game. So I'm actually going to shield this attack here. It's another Dynamic Punch. I'm going to try to get to another Play Rough, and we do. I fire off the Play Rough to finish off that Medicham, and back out comes Venusaur. That's okay though, the switch clock has rejuvenated, so I have Skarmory. We ran into a little bit of lag here. I'm going to fire off a Sky Attack, and he's going to shield and then switch into the Lantern. This is a very bad situation for me. You know, Lantern is going to fry the Skarmory. I'm not even going to spend a shield on it. And I'm just going to fire off this Sky Attack and get a little chip damage in. So I have 3 Pokemon and 1 shield. I'm going to go in now with Azumarill. So I wanted to see if I could get off a charge move, but I can't. However, I do have Toxicroak, and Toxicroak has that ground type attack Mud Bomb, which is going to finish off this Lantern. I shield that Hydro Pump with my final shield. We get a Mud Bomb, and we take down Lantern to win round 1. Going into round 2, I'm going to open Toxicroak. He opens Lantern. We just saw this matchup. We know the Mud Bomb is going to be deadly. However, Toxicroak is extremely squishy, and I can't afford to get hit by any of Lantern's attacks. So he shields this Mud Bomb. He's going to fire off a charge move of his own, which is Thunderbolt. I'm going to block that, and I think I can get to a Mud Bomb before we can get to another Thunderbolt, and we do. Here comes Mud Bomb number 2, and we take down Lantern. Out comes Medicham. Toxicroak is going to resist the fighting type attacks from Medicham, but it is not quite as good. So I'm going to try to get to another Mud Bomb here. We almost do. Maybe an opportunity to undertap there, but that's okay. He's going to fire off a Dynamic Punch and take down a third of our Skarmory's health. We have to shield the second one. I'm going to get a few Air Slashes in here and go for the Sky Attack. We use the Sky Attack to take down Medicham, and out comes Venusaur. I know I need 1 Sky Attack to win, and I can survive the Frenzy Plant or Sludge Bomb, so we take the game with that final Sky Attack. Going into round 2, I'm facing off against Johnny Amigo. Johnny Amigo is going to be running Probopass, Deoxys Defense, Azumarill, Skarmory, Cresselia, and Lucario. So this is a very interesting team. I faced off against a Cresselia in freestyle play in Ybor City, but I have not faced one in a remote tournament. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to start off with my Defense Deoxys, and he does the same. So this was actually one of the first times I've done the mirror match against Deoxys. It's really, it's hard to know what moves to use. He's going to use the Rock Slide, and I go in with Psycho Boost. So I believe the 2 moves are very similar in their energy cost. I'll probably go to the Sims and see what the better move is. I fire off a Thunderbolt here to try to catch him off guard, but he shields it. So I'm going to get a few more counters in. As you can tell, our counters aren't hurting each other at all. I have the Thunderbolt ready, so I am going to invest in this Deoxys. Fire off the Thunderbolt, and he does not block. So we are very close, and I'm able to take him down. As you can see, we've switched back to the original PvP mechanics, the tap, 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 tap. That's okay though, because it's a lot of fun. He brings in Azumarill, and I have the Mirror Match or Toxicroak. I decide to go in here with Toxicroak. He gets off a charge move. It's going to be that Play Rough, and I have to shield that. I'm going to bank a little bit more energy here and go for a Mud Bomb, hoping that he's going to think it's Sludge Bomb. He does not shield, and I go for the Sludge Bomb, but a perfect switch into Cresselia. Cresselia is going to be using Psycho Cut, and I can't afford to leave Toxicroak in, so I switch to Azumarill here. The Moonblast is going to hurt, but Azumarill is so tanky. He's got one shield, so I'm going to try to get this shield bait here, but he doesn't take it. I go for another Ice Beam here, but he's able to get his charge move first. It's another Moonblast, and my Azumarill is weak. One more Ice Beam takes down Cresselia. Out comes Azumarill. He's going to finish me off here with the Play Rough, and then out comes Toxicroak. This is not looking good for me. I have no shields. He has one, and he's able to get to his charge move, which is Ice Beam, and finish us off. GG's, round 1, going into round 2. I open Defense Deoxys, and we are in the Mirror Match yet again, guys. I'm going to try to go for the Psycho Boost here, I believe, because I think that's the better move. I don't shield the first Rock Slide. I go here for Thunderbolt. So the Thunderbolt lands, and it does good damage. I'm feeling good about this matchup. We got him into the yellow at least 4 or 5 counters before we were. He fires off a Rock Slide. I'm going to go for the Psycho Boost here, and we land it. So I can get to one more Psycho Boost, I think, and we do. He's going to shield this one. He wants to keep his Deoxys alive, and he manages to take us down. I bring out Azumarill. I know a Thunderbolt is coming. It's actually a Rock Slide, but I shield anyway. So I have one shield. He has one shield. We are down to 2 pokes each, and out comes Cresselia. So Cresselia is a Psychic type. I'm going to try to use this Fairy type attack to do some good damage to it, and we do. Cresselia is surprisingly bulky. I figure Moonblast or Aurora Beam, either way, I could survive it, so I choose not to shield. I go here for the quick Ice Beam, and we draw a shield. So we're going to spend our last shield here to absorb that Moonblast, and I'm going to try to get to another Play Rough. After banking a little bit of energy, I switch into Skarmory to absorb this Moonblast. As you can tell, not very effective. He decides to stay in here. I'm figuring that an Aurora Beam is on the way, but it's another Moonblast. So a few more Air Slashes, and we were able to take down that Cresselia. I have a lot of energy with Skarmory, and Azumarill has also got a lot of energy bank, so I'm feeling really confident. Out comes Azumarill. I go for the Flash Cannon. We take almost half the life. I try to get to another Sky Attack to do a little more chip damage, but he gets to the Ice Beam first. That's okay, though. I bring my Azumarill, and this match is close. One Play Rough in here, and I'm trying to get to the last move to win. One more Play Rough seals the deal. We are tied up 1-1 going into round 3. I start with Defense Deoxys. He starts with Cresselia. I had the same lead 3 times in a row, and I know I need to avoid this Moonblast, so I go into Skarmory. I'm a few counters too soon, or excuse me, a few Psycho Cuts too soon, but it works anyway. Out comes Defense Deoxys, and I need to get off these Sky Attacks. I figure the Rock Slide is coming, and that's going to hurt Skarmory, but not as badly as you would think. A Thunderbolt would destroy me, though, and I believe we talked after the match, and he only had one charge move on Deoxys and one charge move on Cresselia, so I got really lucky in that fact. So I'm going to fire off a Psycho Boost here, and he decides to shield. I have 2 shields, he's got none. I'm going to take this Rock Slide here, no big deal. He makes the switch into Cresselia, and is going to catch us with a charge move. I have to defend this Moonblast, and I switch into Azumarill. We are both switch locked, but I feel confident in my position here. He's going to fire off a charge move, which is Moonblast again. I'm actually going to go here, bank a little more energy, and then go for the Play Rough. Play Rough does good damage. I'm going to try to get to the Ice Beam to finish him before he can get another charge move off, but he does. I decide to shield because I know he has Defense Deoxys, and Azumarill is a great counter for that one as well. Out comes Azumarill. We have a mirror match situation, and Azumarill is critical for our team. Let's see how this turns out. I make a fast switch into Deoxys, and I fire the Thunderbolt here. I'm trying to get as much damage as I possibly can. Deoxys is going to absorb this attack, which is Ice Beam. I think a Play Rough was probably the right move there. He brings out his Defense Deoxys, and before we can get to a charge move, he gets to another Rock Slide. So I bring in Azumarill, I farm up one bubble, out comes his Azumarill, and I know the Play Rough is going to end it, but he gets to a charge move first. It's Ice Beam, and I fire off my Play Rough, and we take game 3. That was extremely close. I feel like if Johnny Migo would have had the second move on his Pokemon there, he would have stood a much better chance. He definitely would have beaten me. I could say that as a matter of fact. But either way, good GG's, Johnny Amigo. I can't wait to face you again. Going into the final round of the freestyle, I'm going to face off against Gilmore 1991. He's got Venusaur, Medicham, Azumarill, Sableye, Skarmory, and Probopass. You probably recognize this team because it looks a lot like what somebody would run for regionals. That's going to be a lot of fun to face off against, so let's get into the battles. I decide to open here with Skarmory. He opens with Sableye. Now this is generally a favorable matchup for Skarmory, but you have to watch out for those Sableye attacks. The Foul Play does a decent amount of damage every time. I'm actually going to shield this first one and fire off a Sky Attack here. As you can see, we've moved to the present animation style for PvP, which are the little mini games, which are a lot of fun, even though flying is still really hard. So he's going to fire off a charge move here. It is Foul Play, and my Skarmory is not liking this at all. I fire off a Sky Attack here. He made the perfect switch into Probopass, but I'm going to switch into Defense Deoxys, and those counters are going to do good work against Probopass. He's going to fire off here a Magnet Bomb, and as you can tell, Defense Deoxys takes that no problem. I'm actually going to farm down the rest of this Probopass as much as I can. Even if he gets off another charge move, that's okay. He's actually going to come in here with his Sableye, and I'm going to go for a quick Psycho Boost. I'm going to go here for the Thunderbolt to try to take him down because he just burned his last shield, and we do. Out comes Medicham. I have one shield. I'm able to fire off this Psycho Boost to get a little bit of chip damage in on Medicham, and I have two good counters, Azumarill being the best. And yeah, this is not looking good for Gilmore. My lineup, I guess I just got lucky with the lead, and then what complemented my mons in the back. He's going to fire off the Power-Up Punch here. I know one play rough will end it. And we end up taking game 1 in the championship round. Going into round 2 here, I open Defense Deoxys. He opens a Azumarill. I have to watch out for those play roughs, but I want to get some energy up for that Thunderbolt. We get to the Thunderbolt first. I'm going to fire this off, and I plan on making a fast switch because I know he's got energy banked, which he does. I switch into my Azumarill, and in comes a play rough. I'm going to fire off a bubble, and then out comes Venusaur. This is not a favorable matchup for Azumarill. However, the Ice Beams will do good work against the Frenzy Plant Venusaur. I just have to make sure to defend the Frenzy Plants. I'm going to try to take his second shield here with another Ice Beam. And we do. So he has no shields. I have one. Azumarill's done great work, and I know I have Skarmory in the back, so I'm going to let Azumarill fall here. Out comes Skarmory. This is a farmable matchup, but he brings back in his Azumarill. He's got no shields though, so I bank up some energy. I'm expecting the Ice Beam, and we get an Ice Beam. Deoxys defense eats that no problem. A few more counters here. I know the next move will probably be play rough, so I am going to be careful here. I get off a Psycho Boost, still working on my skills with the Psychic animation, and we take down Azumarill. Out comes Venusaur. Now, Venusaur is a good counter for Defense Deoxys because that Frenzy Plant just dishes out so much neutral damage. But I'm going to use some counters here. In comes Sableye, and I'm going to fire off this Thunderbolt. He surprised me with the fast switch, but I was able to get off the right charge move regardless. We almost get to another one, but I have the Skarmory ready. I know Skarmory is key here because the Sky Attack is going to take down the Sableye. One more Air Slash, and we get enough for another Sky Attack. We're going to take down this weakened Venusaur to win the game. GG's to all of my opponents, IP Mante, Johnny Amigo, and Gilmore. It was a pleasure to play all of you and to battle you in the remote league this entire season. I can't wait to face off against you again. Thank you so much for the practice and the games. And yeah, I recommend everyone join a Go Stadium remote league. It's a lot of fun. Again, link in the description. Get involved. It's been a tremendous experience for me in this season 1. Thank you so much for watching. More videos to come.